WWE are promising seamless NXT call-ups. Plus, Johnny Gargano is open to a WWE return, and the next ROH World Championship challenger has been announced. It's a weird one. We'll get into it in the wrestling news right now. We've done a lot of good news out of WWE lately. So let's do some more. Yay. Andrew.
Yes. So Shawn Michaels, the sexy boy himself, on WrestleRant said, someone who is someone in NXT can now move up to the main roster, be recognized as the same person, talk about coming from NXT, and perhaps blending immediately into a storyline with someone who was previously in NXT. Continuity. I absolutely think that communication is clearly going to be there. Those transitions should be more seamless and more comfortable, and also the readiness of the talent going up. This is incredible news, Tom.
Do we believe what Shawn Michaels says?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I think this has been something that they've wanted to do for a long time, and obviously not at one point having control of what happens on the main roster to people. Now we have the continuity between the two with Triple H and obviously Shawn Michaels as well. I think we're going to see this more in abundance now than ever before.
I'm really happy to hear that, to hear stuff. I think because, with Shawn and Triple H there, I can see that because Triple H, NXT is Triple H's baby, Shawn Michaels is as well. And they want to see that continuity through. The whole idea of having a developmental brand which flows seamlessly onto the main roster. Here's a concept that works. It's craziness.
And then also think about just the long-term storytelling as well. You could have things just play out over a long period of time. You could have two up-and-coming NXT superstars down the line finally come back around for a main event title match. And that would be an incredible thing to see.
What seamless call-ups do we see doing well from NXT to Raw or SmackDown?
I mean, I think, I can't remember, you might have talked about it on the news this week already, but I think Santos Escobar would be, I think he'd be so good. I think you can place him in any sort of storyline and he'll just absolutely flourish. Bron Breakker, obviously, too. I mean, that's a given. On the women's side, maybe wrestling-wise, I think Zoe Stark would be a good fit, and I think she could fit very seamlessly into the style on the main roster too. And I'd like to see Roxy on there as well, Roxanne Perez. I think again, maybe that's more wrestling-wise for me, those picks there, rather than storyline-wise. But
I quite like the idea of, as they say there, sort of like calling them up and then working with somebody who was previously in NXT and having continuity there. You could even do a thing where you have Cora Jade get announced as a call-up, and then also being called up Roxanne Perez.
That would be awesome.
She charges the ring on SmackDown and they brawl on the so you literally just go, that's an NXT feud. Let's just immediately put it on SmackDown. And let's tell the story on there.
And that's got to be a nicer transition as well for those wrestlers too. Moving up to the main roster is going to be like a daunting experience for a lot of people, but maybe to do it so where you're in the ring with someone you've already had experience with and you're comfortable with, I think that's a nice way to sort of settle someone in. One
person who is no doubt intrigued by this wild new idea of call-ups that make sense and flow seamlessly is Johnny Gargano. Now, we've talked a few times about Johnny Wrestling, not Johnny Nitro, the other Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Takeover a few times, because it felt like for the first couple of days of the Triple H regime, Gargano was trending on Twitter during every wrestling show. And then there were conversations, there was stories and reports that Shawn Michaels had reached out to Johnny Gargano and just to have a little chat and a coffee and maybe a biscuit to see where you're at. Gargano from bodyslam.net, this comes from, they say, in an update as to where Johnny Gargano might end up, sources have told me that with Triple H now in control as head of creative in WWE, Gargano is open to a WWE return and that he would be interested in talking to Hunter and, quote, seeing how things would be changing. So the obvious thing is, where do we put Johnny Gargano here? There's one very obvious thing I can think of.
DIY?
SOS.
I think we get Ciampa finally getting a mid-card belt and relishing in that moment, and then Johnny Gargano debuts and he's like, oh no, this could be a problem now.
So you bring him in as rivals?
I think so. I think so. I think they're incredible as rivals. They're incredible as a tag team as well. And I think we finally maybe go back round to that eventually. But God, I want to see some more matches between them.
Oh, now we saw Johnny Gargano on Impact recently. That was a nice little surprise. There's some interesting contract situations taking place in Impact at the moment, isn't there, Andrew?
There certainly is. So this is from Fightful Select. They say Impact Wrestling has a bunch of current champions that aren't under contract or are coming up, and another talent whose contract status is in a bit of a unique situation. So the Good Brothers are committed to work with Impact through at least till, late August, and the Knockouts Tag Team Champion, Chelsea Green, is still a free agent, which is mental, and hasn't signed a contract with Impact. Green's tag team partner, Deonna Purrazzo, has a contract that is set to expire at the end of 2022 and is set to actively discuss her future in the company in the next few months.
So I'm curious as to, because obviously at the moment Vexed are the Knockouts Tag Champions, and you've got one that's on the books until next year, and you've got one that's not on the books at all. Now, it could be a case that Chelsea Green is is doing quite well on the indie circuit.
Yep.
We saw her, with the vow renewal at GCW. What a fun little angle that was, getting pile driven on a special day by Alley Cat. That was a lovely time. See Alley Cat's giving all of them. But maybe it's a case that she doesn't want to sign with them because of that, because maybe she loses a bit of that freedom and a bit of that flow.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
We don't know the details of that deal.
No.
The Good Brothers, I feel like, are very much on the way out. They've been announced today for New Japan Strong, I believe. So I kind of feel like their time is coming to an end.
I think with the rise, certainly of Jay White's Bullet Club and his reign at the moment as IWGP Heavyweight Champion, I can see them going off to do more stuff in New Japan at this point. I think that feels like sort of a right fit for them.
I can see going off soon. You and me.
Yeah.
Going off to Cardiff.
Oh,
Clash of the Castle.
I like it.
That's coming up. It
certainly is.
It's nearly Cardiff o'clock, mate.
It is nearly Cardiff o'clock. We got the emails being like, it's nearly Cardiff o'clock. We got them yesterday.
Got our itinerary through. Me, yourself, Sam, Owen. We're going to be in Cardiff for Clash of the Castle. Cannot wait. We're going to try and organise a little gathering of some sort.
I've never been to Cardiff either,
Oh, have you not?
First time.
Oh, it's a lovely place.
No, I lie. I played a gig in Cardiff once. I've lied to everybody on the internet.
You are a dirty liar.
I've lied to everybody.
Dirty, filthy liar. Well, if you're going to Clash the Castle, get your laughing gear around this, right? This comes from ICW. Insane Championship Wrestling are returning to Cardiff on Saturday the 3rd of September for a special midnight show.
Ooh.
That's going to feature all the action of ICW. It's going to feature Grado, who I believe is signed for it as well. I don't know when last time we saw Grado on ICW was. But he's going to be there, and it's taking place at midnight following Clash at the Castle.
That's cool.
Now the venue, I'm going to butcher this. I think it's Yplas or Yplas. It's YPLAS. I apologise, Wales. I didn't research that bit. Slap myself on the wrist. I will take myself away. My dad, who grew up in Llandudwells, would be disgusted with me. But that's happening after Clash. So if you fancy staying up mega late, doing Clash at the Principality, you can go and see ICW a couple of hours later.
That's really
and stay
cool.
up through the night. I'm half tempted.
I kind of am at this point as well, It
depends how much
work. It's going to be a
work.
long weekend, though, because we've got All Out the next day, too.
We have. But I feel like, because I'm on holiday the weekend after, I feel like I just want to ride it like I stole it for a weekend,
I mean, we're there,
just
aren't
burn
we?
out.
We're there, why not just do it?
I'm just going to
Why not
crash
just
and burn.
Do we think anyone from WWE will turn up?
That's a really good question, because obviously ICW have an excellent relationship with WWE because the shows are on the network at the moment. I could maybe, you've got, the thing is that I think quite a few of the NXT UK guys aren't going to be around because it seems as if what's going to happen is we're going to get an NXT UK World Collide event on Sunday.
Oh yeah, of course.
At the same time as All Out. So I think all the UK guys are going to be in America, and all the American guys are in the UK.
Because I could have seen someone like Subculture turning up to that as well,
Yeah.
Blooming egg.
Never mind. A popular indie event planning to come back next year. Here's Andrew with more on that.
Well, the man who thinks the world is a vampire Billy Corgan, was speaking to NBC Sports Boston. He said, I saw a headline recently that said I don't plan on bringing Empower back, and that's totally false. What it was is we looked at Empower for this NWA 74 pay-per-view, and unfortunately, there's a paucity of female talent available on the open market because there's such demand now for female talent, both with WWE and AEW. Is there enough talent? Absolutely. Let's all remember, if that pay-per-view doesn't go well, you put people in positions they are not ready for. It's going to blow back not only on those talents, but on the company as well. We will definitely run another Empower pay-per-view. Absolutely, and hopefully next year too. So if you remember, the last Empower featured Deonna Purrazzo facing Melina for the Impact Knockouts Championship. You got the Hex becoming the new NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, and Chelsea Green winning a Battle Royal as well in the main event. And it was a really good show too, like a really, really good show.
Mickie James was especially passionate about putting it together, and I know that she said she's stepping away from wrestling, so I feel like this would be a project that she get her teeth into. Absolutely, I'm glad to hear it's coming back.
Yeah.
But interesting take on that, because what he says there is there just wasn't the talent available. But next year, we'd like there to be the talent available. Although the talent that could carry the pay-per-view, rather than putting somebody who might not be able to in that top position. I see what you're saying. Talking of top positions, the next challenger for the top position in Ring of Honor, currently held by Claudio Castagnoli, has been revealed. The next challenger for Claudio's ROH Heavyweight Championship of the World is Dustin Rhodes.
Are you not okay? So we want to establish
AEW stars challenging for the Ring of Honor Championship.
We want to establish Ring of Honor as its own separate entity, right?
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from. Do I think it'll be a good match? I do think it'll be a good match.
I'm not saying.
Are you?
I must. Hasta la vista, baby. Boris' sign off on
was
it.
good.
Don't like him. He was rubbish. I don't have any issue with Dustin Rhodes. I think you know, when his game face is on, he's a top guy. Just a weird challenger for Claudio Castagnoli's Ring of Honor Championship. It kind of puts me in mind of, I think maybe because for the classic SmackDown review I do with Matthew Gregg on a Saturday, we are currently in 2001 and we're about to see the WCW invasion, and it kind of smacks of like random WWF mid-carders challenging for the WCW title. Yeah. That's kind of what it smacks of.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't smack of sort of its own separate entity doing it. I don't know. I mean, Aidan upstairs made a very valid point. You can spin this storyline wise, and Dustin can go, hey, my brother, he was the ROH champion. He made it into a ring and everything. And I'm going to be fighting the Rhodes Legacy to win a world title. And that's going to, you could do that. You could do that. I mean, it'll be a good match.
It will be.
It feels like a weird choice.
I think it would be. I think it'd be far more productive to put someone else in that title. Maybe that someone doesn't perhaps know too well and build a star from that. I think that's a good way, especially for Ring of Honor, which feels very much like a fighting championship, doesn't it? Like, especially with Claudio in the mix now as well as the champion. I think that's a good way to showcase new talent and also put over Claudio strong, and then also other talents as well, because you know he works well with pretty much every single person.
Takeshita, didn't he?
Oh my god! And like that, everything that Takeshita has done in AEW, I think he's done absolute wonders for his career too. And like, he is such a good wrestler, really proved himself. And I think maybe putting more people in that position to elevate them a little bit more would be a good idea.
We'll see what happens.
We will.
It's a match that's going to be taking place on the 26th of August edition of Rampage. Good luck all involved. I'm hoping it'll be a banger. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. If you haven't done so already, oh my days, on the channel right now, Sam Driver used AI to create an episode of Monday Night Raw. Artificial intelligence wrote the script, produced the images, made the theme songs, and there'll be some Tom Campbell detractors, detractor stream, who will be glad to know I genuinely thought I was going to die when that video we made that video. There's a point in that video where I'm laughing and you see me sort of do this.
What was happening?
I could feel my heart going. That's a little behind the curtain. I'm fine, by the way.
But I'm
all
glad you
right.
are.
But at that point, I was like, oh, I think I might pass out here. I think I might die.
If you like Taz and you like rice pudding, this is the video for you.
So basically, if you're human,
Yeah.
because we all like Taz and or rice pudding, we'll have more rice pudding throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.